great. But we don't want to take away a voice. We just want to go ahead and say, hey guys, listen, you don't have to fight, you don't have to bicker. And if you do fight and bicker, you know what? Let's have what would you say, a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's focus and work on something that's going to help us in our future, help us with our relationships with our neighbors. I mean, let's do something that makes a community in a community thing, where we all work together. So, anyways, Eric, what was happening was I was noticing a couple of groups that just started developing in Prescott, Arizona, and I go to look at the group admins, and the group admins are of Russian descent. And not saying that Russian people are not allowed to have their place in Prescott, Arizona, if they live here or whatever. But it doesn't seem like their intentions are going to be on the same level as, say, for instance, my intentions. A lot of people have said, "Hey, San Martin, we love your group. This group is amazing. You keep the unity in our community. You I guess you filter out, those people that want to agitate, like they want to go in there and they want to agitate. Some of the things that people say in our Prescott groups, or they're upset with Californians moving in, or they're upset with anybody moving in, and then they start bickering and fighting and et cetera, et cetera. So what I do with those posts? I just delete it. I just delete the post where it's just causing this negative energy that we don't need. And I know for a fact that everybody doesn't want to wake up every day and be like, you know what, I'm going to fight with my community. I really honestly don't think that anybody woke up like that today. And if they did, like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? I know that you need a hug. And if we got to give you a hug today, let's give you a hug today. Because one thing that I really would love to see is our community stay together and be unified and just stand here arm in arm. Obviously, COVID doesn't allow this little interaction, but whatever. That's a whole nother story.
So, hey, on that note, I saw a bunch of billboards and signs. It just says, love your community or something along those lines, driving in and out of town last couple of days. Who's putting those up? Who's sponsoring those? Do you know?
Well, Eric, it was derived from our morning show. Let me see if we have the, what's her name? Gosh, I'm so freaking like, oh, I got it. Watch this. I'll tell you right now, Eric. What's her name? Stephanie Edge. Stephanie Edge, she was watching our show one morning. She remembered what I did like a few years back or a couple years back or whatever. And she says, we need to do it again. And so she organized a community effort of people, community members come together. And what they wanted to do was write a bunch of positive affirmations out there. So Arizona Woodworks ended up giving up the material for the signs to be made. And then they found paint and they went to town and ended up putting a lot out there so you guys could see, some motivational, affirmations that, I think it's positive. Whenever you see something that is actually positive, it just turns something in you. So anyways, that was pretty awesome. I like that. I like that a lot, man. When people like to step up and start making some pretty cool things, that is what it's all about.
Excellent. Good stuff. So a couple other news items we probably want to hit, and let's keep it positive Monday. The rodeo sold out, so you're done. If you don't have tickets, you're not going. But Mayor Megarelli said that it will be televised. If you want to pay for it, it's like $5 for the month, maybe $9 a month on the Cowboy Plus channel. They'll be streaming it. So if you can't go, didn't get tickets, you can stream it online on the cowboychannelplus.com. And you gotta have a subscription. So it's a $10 subscription for the month, but it'll get you all of the shows, and they're going to televise and stream the whole thing. So if you really wanted to go and you're going to miss it, Cowboy Channel Plus.
That's going to be so much fun. I mean, I love the rodeo, man. I mean, I know I could get in whenever I want to go in, but we'll see how it works out. But yeah, dude, that sounds like a lot of fun. You know what, Eric? We obviously have, some of the craziest weather patterns here in Prescott, Arizona. But, we all know in Arizona, it gets hot So we'll just talk about the weather now. And I know that we, did a little bit of motivation. So the motivation was unity in our community, guys. We're going to make it happen. And if you guys are upset with me with anything I post or say, I'm so sorry. Sometimes I like to talk, but you guys got to hear my voice. And in order for you guys to understand where I come from, I love everybody. I really do. And I really want to be your friend. So that's going to be the end of my positive affirmations or my positive motivation Mondays. But let's check it out. Check this out, Eric. Monday.
Way to go negative. Holy cow. At least it'll be decent here, but 108 in Camp Verde, that's crazy.
Yeah, that thing looks like it's hot. I mean, I don't really, I can't believe Phoenix is up there comparison to Camp Verde. So, guys, if you live in that area, so sorry. It's going to be really, really hot. And so, anyways, this is what it's all about. We are actually going to be headed out to the mountains this weekend, coming up weekend. So it looks like it's still going to be hot, man. Oh, it looks like it's going to drop down just a tad bit, but
Well, and I saw next week we do look like we may have some monsoon activity on the far out forecast. So
oh,
that could be good, but this week we got to pay for it right now.
Sometimes that's what happens. It gets all drawn out, and the next thing you know, you have the ability to get that sun just taking up our the humidity out there. So I guess Wednesday, yeah, you're looking like a little bit of cloudiness coming in. It doesn't show too much rain, but Eric, we are always positive about this.
Can you tell the humidity's up a little bit? It's not as dry as it was. It just feels a little hotter.
Yeah, I haven't really felt it, but Thursday this week we are getting a 12% humidity, so that's gonna be kind of cool. But you know what? That's how we rock. That's how we rock here in Prescott, Arizona. I mean, I was talking with somebody the other day about the whole idea of like location, 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 and I was saying a lot of reasons why I love to be in Prescott. One of it is because of our great, beautiful environment, and our weather is just like phenomenal. The air quality is phenomenal. And just recently, I added something else to that quality is that we're living in such a is it rural area where it's just kind of
Oh,
spread out,
yep, yep, yep.
that we don't have to deal with the city life. So I was kind of happy with that to add that to the why I love Prescott, Arizona. I remember back in the days when I was watching movies and stuff, and I was like, oh man, if that ever happens in the world or in whatever, you don't want to live in the cities because the city there it's just going to be a bad place. And some of those things came to pass, and I'm like, all right. So all those years wanting to stay out of the big city, man, really honestly is paying off today because as we know, the whole no mask wearing mask scenario is going down in Maricopa, and a lot of people aren't happy with that, but a lot of people are happy with it. So
Well,
who's
no,
to
you just add to the city stuff. Look at everything. I actually saw an article about all the stuff going on in Seattle, and so I mean, it's just crazy out there.
it's crazy, man. So sometimes it's good to go ahead and get you put your I don't know, man. Like I said, just be prepared for whatever it is that you want to be prepared for. But at the same time, man, I'm just living my life, having a great time. That's what I'm doing, Eric. That's what I'm doing. So we did have a few things that I wanted to go ahead and talk about that was happening. The events that went off this weekend went off without a hitch. I think the movies went out good. I just did. For some reason I don't see anything coming from those movies. Like nobody wants to post that they went out or something.
Yeah, I've not seen anything either. I don't know why we're not seeing any video at all.
Yeah, I
You're
was.
gonna have to go out there and do it.
I guess so, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of people just don't want that. Maybe there's like, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be a part of that.
So speaking of you're gonna do a live stream tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Eric, that that is actually going to be happening, my friends. Eric said it first. Tomorrow morning, I will be live with Sheldon Street Medical with Dr. Bloom, and I'm going to do the antibody test. Eric said that there's a 40%.
I think so. I think I heard a 40% margin of error on it or accuracy. I hope it's better than that. I really do.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is we'll end up going live. We'll talk with Nancy Bloom about some of the things that she's offering, some of the things that she's going to do. I mean that she does, and what she's been seeing over the time. She did put out a vlog just recently about the whole COVID-19 scenario. It's a really good read. Obviously, one of the things that we do have going on in our communities or even in our state and our world is that there's a lot of misinformation and there's a lot of information going out there, which is causing a major confusion. Like nobody knows exactly what to believe. That you see that the people that says, "Oh, you got to wear a mask. It's going to keep everybody safe," and then all of a sudden, OSHA, people were quoting from OSHA saying, "Oh, yeah, you can't be using these masks because this caused blah blah blah." And then you see people that reporting like, "Oh, yeah, it saved me from COVID-19 or saved me from whatever infectious disease," and then you see pictures of people saying, this is how people deal with viruses. This is what you're supposed to wear. And they're in a full on suit, man, with their arms taped up. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do we do, man?
All right, you should buy one.
Huh?
And it sold. That's what you should do. You should buy one and wear that out.
Oh man, Eric, I'm gonna probably have to get start putting together some onesies,
Yeah.
uh, onesie, and make it look somewhat cool. I don't know, man. Remember back in the days there was that movie called The Boy in the Bubble.
Yeah, Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy, and he basically had to live in a bubble, and it was kind of sad, but it's like he had to do that because his immune system was so weak that if anything hit him or touched him, he would die. So I can feel the pain of those people that are out there with what their underlying illnesses is, are low immune systems, breathing issues. I mean, there's a lot of people that are actually struggling and talking about this because they're so fearful of what's going on out there. They can't live their lives anymore, but it feels sad because nobody feels like they can live their lives because one wants to take care of the other and the other one wants to take care of the other, and some people just want to take care of them freaking selves. And
Well,
so
so San Martin, you posted a post on Friday, and I actually, because I had a moment, counted all the all the comments. Right, I think you had something like 23 comments within the first hour. And I can't remember what the post was about, and I counted the letter I because people were like I this or letter me or I. There was over 70 I's or me's in 23 comments on your post, and it was about COVID, if I remember right. And I really wish people would just think about we or community or everybody. And I really hated seeing that there was almost 70 I's or me's in your comments.
yeah, it's It's so separated, Eric. I don't know exactly what to say about it, but it is 100% separated. I mean, it's just it knows what to believe. I actually, I should probably address this because I did post it on my page, and it was from the Vice President of the United States of America, Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence. He wrote a letter of just like he just wrote a letter, and it was in direction to all the American people. And Eric, I got hate mail in my email.
Really?
How dare you? How dare you post this information from somebody that does not have a place to say this type of stuff? And I'm like, and I start thinking about it, and I'm like,
He still is running. He's still heading up the task force, right? Is there still a task force? I can't remember.
yeah, he's
Okay.
supposed to be on that. I don't know, Eric. Like I said, like even if the vice president of the United States says something, people are going to say he's lying. I mean, when CDC says something, they're lying. When freaking OSHA says something, they're lying. The president lying, me lying, you lying, everybody's lying.
Yeah.
It's so hard, man. And so, anyways, I wanted to address that, guys. When I post something that has to do with America, this is something that we, as a community, or even as a nation, are supposed to do. We're supposed to pray for our leaders and follow after them because they're supposed to take us through some good times of life. But there's been some sort of like tragic misplaced in I guess in the roles of who we trust and who we go for and blah blah blah. And it's like, how do we fix this? How do we go ahead and come back to a point where we could actually put a man or a woman in that position where we could go ahead and have a peace of mind and knowing that this person is going to lead us in the right direction in our lives. And then I get back to that point where, sometimes we as a human should probably just go ahead and head up our own personal like feelings and thoughts, as long as it doesn't come against the the, the human, I guess, the human humanity rules of thumb. Treat others like you want to be treated. So
Love it. There you go. That's a good attitude. Absolutely.
yeah. See, my friend over here, he's instigating. He called me a liar now. See how you are? You're not in California. Just kidding. I see your picture, Ben. Hi, Rich. Thanks for joining. So, guys, this is one of the things that happen here locally in Prescott. That it seems like we could go everywhere and have fun. People seem to be really, really nice and very like open. I haven't really seen like any kind of like disruption. Only time that I ever see disruption is when you're online and people have the opportunity to be that keyboard warrior.
It is crazy, San Martin. Like I know some people that are the nicest people in the world, sweetest people in the world, and then you see some of their Facebook posts, and it's like, who are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I gotta say, guys, that I am guilty because you know what? I do 100% get irritated. And I'm just like, gosh, man, can we all just get along and just realize that, life can actually move forward if we all work together? But, I, once again, there's a narrative that's being written and we don't know exactly where this is all coming from and where it's going. So this is something that has been well touched for a long time. So here we got here. I don't know. I'm just like lost in words. it's, it's the funniest thing ever, man. Um, so yeah, I can't be any negative. Then it's already been negative. But there's some cool things that I love to share on Facebook, which really, honestly, I never have a problem with. Everybody doesn't seem to like bicker or like whatever. It's pictures, man. Pictures. Everybody loves pictures. Everybody loves.
Pictures of puppies. I still want to do that. I want to go out and kayak or do the standing board out on the lake there.
Yeah, that actually right there looks like a lot of fun. Another person posted this picture, and I'm just like, wow, this is Prescott. I think this is Watson Lake, and Mariah Delbeck. She owns the Born to Be Wild uh, kayaking deal. So you guys can go ahead and rent kayaks and go out on the lake for the day. I think for a very, very decent price. So if you guys want to, check that out, you're more than welcome to. That is social distancing at its finest. So, guys, I love showing pictures of our local beautiful spot, man. It's just something that I love. And you know what? Nobody really gets mad about that.
No, pictures are great. In fact, I haven't seen enough of them lately.
Yep. I haven't. There's one thing that I want. I ended up posting a bunch of numbers the other day, and I was like, "Oh, guys, check this out." You know, So the reason why I did that, it wasn't just to, mock the thing. It was just kind of like, educational to see kind of what the CDC has been saying about, certain things that have been happening, such as the flu. So the flu is supposed to go from October to March. Flu season is supposed to end in March. That's basically what they say. But in that time, that those numbers were crazy insane of how many people got put into um, the hospitals, and in there was 410,000 hospitalizations. The CDC found that the rate of outpatient visits for influenza-like illnesses for the week ending April 25th remained below the national baseline of 2.4 and 1.8%. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, those numbers again. So it's kind of crazy to see different numbers and how they actually come in and approach and acknowledge, where things are, So it's crazy, I mean, I don't know, crazy.
Oh, well, it's crazy. It's going to be crazy. And just be kind to your neighbor and do your thing. And, try to look out for other people. That's all we can ask for. Right. And think twice before you become the keyboard warrior and just act, put out good stuff. And, that's what it's about. Local community. That's why we're all up here. Right. We love that field.
Yes. You know what? I think we're going to start putting into our pages is history of Prescott and what has happened. I don't know if you guys seen this one that I posted yesterday, Eric, but this one right here was of of what do you call it? The old sheriff or Prescott Police Department police chief. This guy right here, Robert Monroe Robbins. It was kind of funny because Robert Monroe Robbins was one of my friend's great grandfather, and she I went to school with her, and so she was like, "Oh, thank you for posting about my father." So that was another reason why I posted about it because it was kind of like a cool little like story. So let me go ahead and go for it before the time is done. So Robert Monroe Robbins was born in 1882 and died in 1957. Prescott PD's fourth chief of police. Prescott Police Chief, February 1st, 1915 to October 30th, 1917. So he only served for what, 2 years? In
Yep.
1915, Bob Robbins was Prescott's first police chief to be appointed by the mayor rather than elected by the people. The previous police chief, Frank Heiser, claimed he, not Robbins, was the legitimate head of the police department, and he sued Robbins. How do you sue somebody when they got voted in? Until the case was decided in Robbins' favor, a year later, Prescott had two men claiming to be police chief. Talk about some confusion. So I guess Eric, it's been confusing a lot of years. So we'll see how this turns out. Um, Prescott had two men claiming to be police chief. During Robbins' tenure as a chief, the Prescott Police Department consisted of just two officers, the chief and the night officer. Robbins was born in 1888 on a ranch west of town, located at what is now the intersection of Thumb Butte Road and Josephine Street. He spent his younger years as a cowboy, miner, and teamster. What's a teamster? Oh, is that a roping thing?
No, a Teamster was like part of the union.
Okay. Okay.
Ran the union probably. Yeah.
In 1910, at the age of 30, Robbins was hired as a Prescott police officer, beginning his 45 years career in law enforcement. Robbins became chief of police of Prescott in 1915, a position he held for nearly 3 years. I don't know, I did the math wrong. I guess nearly means almost 3 years. Robbins then moved to Clarkdale, where he worked as special officer for United Verde Copper Co., where he also served as Yavapai County Sheriff's deputy. It was in Clarkdale in 1990 that Robbins was shot in both legs by an intoxicated suspect who was checking for weapons. Though badly wounded, Robbins managed to prevent his assailant from fleeing until another officer arrived. Because the suspect was a family man whom Robbins knew personally, Robbins refused to assist in prosecution against him. Wow. Instead of prison, the man got probation and continued to support his family from 1933 to 1940. Robbins was sheriff of Yavapai County, winning the election 3 times. Now talk about some like I forgive you moment, man. Holy crap! He gets shot in the leg 2 times. Oh, and then he says, "You're a family man. I'm not going to prosecute you. You need to take care of him." Now that's what it's all about. I
Yeah.
gotta.
That's crazy times, and look at that.
Wow, that is actually really cool. Let me go ahead and finish it out. Remarkably, Robbins then returned to work as a sheriff's deputy until his retirement in 1955 at age 67. He also served a quarter century as Prescott volunteer firefighter and had a lifelong involvement in helping troubled youth. Oh, there it is. There's Molly Furno. Thanks for sharing my great grandfather's story. So
Love it.
Prescott,
That's a cool story. Is Molly still here?
yeah, she actually is. I think she's head of the tourism community. No, no, that's Anne. Well, shoot, I don't know. I think she's part of the Boys and Girls Club. Um, I don't know. She is still here in Prescott.
Well, that's great. That's good to hear, and it's love the history of the place. So it is that time, my friend. Let's send it off on good stuff.
Yes, most definitely, guys. Thank you for joining us on a Monday. It is 9:22 a.m. 9:22, 2020. All these twos in today, man.
That
So,
was we missed the time on 2020
oh, did we?
on 920. Yeah, whatever. It's time to
Yeah. Later, guys. I
go.
love and happiness. Let it not be war. And don't forget to join us and also see all the press releases that are coming out today. It's going to be a floozy of a lot of things happening, but make sure you support your local communities. And also, don't forget to see what's happening in your local municipalities. There's going to be some things happening in Chino Valley and Prescott Valley, putting some people in your office. You better put those right people in there, guys. And I mean, you have to do your own studies and put people. It's all to